Good afternoon. We begin with breaking news. We're getting some new information from the Slidell Police Department about a bizarre string of events, including several shootings in Slidell last week and the deaths of 3 people. Duke Carter is joining us live from Slidell to break down how detectives pieced all this together in what's a fairly complicated story, Duke.
It's very complicated. There are a lot of details in this story, but we're going to try to break it down as simple as possible for our viewers. But Slidell Police, as you just mentioned, Eric, have released more information into what happened last week, Thursday night into Friday morning with the shooting incidents that happened here in Slidell. They say this incident left 3 people being shot. 2 people have passed away from that specific incident. Now, Slidell Police Chief Randy Fandal says the first shooting happened around midnight Thursday, and that involves when a young man was going to the hospital to see his mom, a 43-year-old woman who had passed away from a drug overdose. Now, police say the son of that woman, 29-year-old Joshua Cox, was on the way to the hospital. Well, along the way, Cox and his wife got into an argument, which led to his wife getting shot in the chest. Cox dropped his wife off at the hospital and drove off in a black Kia sedan. Well, after dropping his wife off around midnight, police say witnesses say they saw Cox driving around here in the city of Slidell. Police say Cox approached Christopher Evans, who at that time was working on his girlfriend's truck, a Chevy Tahoe. But detectives are not 100% sure of what happened, but believe Cox wanted to carjack Evans. Eventually, investigators say Cox shot Evans in the head and drove off in the Chevy Tahoe with Evans' body inside. Well, fast forward from around midnight to 4:30 Friday, November 9th. Slidell police responded to shots being fired at an apartment complex on Lee Street, and detectives think Cox went to Jamil Robinson's apartment to try and rob and kill him. They say Robinson mentioned an altercation happened inside the apartment, and he shot Cox in the stomach as self-defense. Now, as of now, Robinson is not being charged for shooting Cox. However, though, Robinson was arrested for illegally owning a firearm, as well as cocaine and marijuana. Slidell Police Chief Randolph Fandal says it's a sad situation. Take a listen.
The common denominator in this, as everybody knows in here, is narcotics. All of this started over drugs, which led to bad, irrational decisions being made by cops. What happened last week is a direct result of how local communities and families are ruined by the use of narcotics.
Now, police are still trying to piece together what happened. They say a series of events happened from midnight until 4:30 Friday morning. Police say that Cox went to the city of New Orleans and came back before eventually shooting Evans. And again, they're still trying to piece together what led to this, what led in that time frame between midnight and 4:30. Meanwhile, though, Cox died after getting shot in the stomach, and his girlfriend is expected to recover. And we will have more on this story later today. For now, though, reporting live here in Slidell, Duke Carter, Eyewitness News.
All right, Duke, thank you for explaining it all. We appreciate that.